Hello everyone, in this video I want to show you how you can create LinkedIn and Twitter content on autopilot using make.com and GPT. So first of all, let's have a look at our general workflow. Here I'm storing my news in a Google Sheets, and then the Google Sheets module watches new rows, and whenever I add a new link to my Google Sheets, the module is going to retrieve that link and it's going to pass it to my GPT model. So my GPT model is GPT 4.1 mini, and it's set to create a chat completion, and here I just provided some instructions, and also I passed the link from the Google Sheets file to this GPT model, and then I'm using a router to basically pass the generated output of this module into these two modules. So the first one is for LinkedIn and the second one is for Twitter. So here I'm using the message and assistant module, and I'm going to explain this later, but basically this uses a dedicated LinkedIn or Twitter assistant to create the content for us, and basically I'm just passing the result from this GPT model, and same for the Twitter one. And then here I'm using DALL-E to create images for my posts based on the titles and the summary of our articles, and then we are gonna pass these content into LinkedIn and Twitter. Now that you have a better understanding of the general workflow, let's recreate it from scratch. Okay, so first thing we need is a Google Sheets module to watch for new rows. So I'm going to click this, I'm going to say Google Sheets, and I'm going to click on watch new rows. And here I'm just going to connect it to my Google account, and we're going to set enter manually, and then we need to provide an spreadsheet ID. So I've already created a Google Sheets, and here I have my spreadsheet ID. So in order to get the spreadsheet ID, you can copy this portion and paste it into this section. Sheet name is usually sheet 1 unless you change it. Content headers, yes, don't change these. And limit, we can set something higher. You can change it based on your own needs, but 100 should be enough. And here you want to say all and then save. So now this row watches this module watches our Google Sheets to find new links, and now we need to connect it to our GPT model. And I'm going to click this, and I'm going to say OpenAI, and boom, 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 boom. So create a model response. Nope, we need to use the create a completion module. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to connect it to my OpenAI account. And here let's just use this one. The model, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to use GPT 4.1 mini, and here we need to provide some instructions to our GPT model. So we are the user, and the text content should basically be the link. And let me just provide some instructions first. So I'm going to say write a summary of this article, make sure to be detailed and include exact names and numbers. Okay, let's just say exact names. And I'm gonna pass the link. Let's just scroll through the rest of the form, and yes, we are good. And just for your information, here we could also use Perplexity, but I assume that many of you might not have the Perplexity's API key, so I decided to use OpenAI, but you can definitely use Perplexity. Okay, so now that we have this module, I'm gonna get a router and I'm gonna send this GPT generated response to two other OpenAI modules, but this time we are using this exact module. So I'm gonna click this, and here we need to choose our assistant. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain how you can create your assistant later, but for this top one I'm gonna use LinkedIn, and the role is the user, and the instruction we can just pass whatever was created earlier, so it should be the result. Actually, let's unlink this and let's run this to make sure it works. So as you can see here, the response is being generated, and if I click here, you can see that we retrieved the link, and if I click here and if I click on result, you can see that we have our summary, and it's pretty detailed. Okay, so now that we know this portion works, let's connect it, and now we can put the result here. Okay, so we are gonna do the same thing, and just let me make sure it's actually the result. Yes, it's the result. Okay, so I'm just gonna unlink this, and I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna clone this one, and I'm gonna connect it. So basically this one is for our Twitter, and let me save this for our Twitter. So I need to set the assistant to be the Twitter bot, and the role is the user, and the message is the same as the one for LinkedIn. Actually, let me rewrite the message. The message should be the result, and here it should also be the result. Okay, fantastic. Now let me tell you where we got these assistants from. Okay, so if you go to your OpenAI's dashboard, the developer dashboard, there is an option for assistants. Click on that one, and here you have the option to create new assistants, and you can do that by clicking on this plus sign, but I've already created my assistants, so I'm not gonna do it again. Basically you can just copy me. So this is my LinkedIn assistant, and the only thing we need to do is to provide a name and also provide some instructions. Okay, so these are my instructions. I'm basically telling the model how we want our LinkedIn post to be created. I've just provided some general best practices, and towards the end I have provided an example of what a LinkedIn post should look like. And for the model, I found that GPT-4 Turbo works perfectly fine for this task. And if I go to my Twitter bot, we just name the bot, and here we have the instructions. The instructions are generally the same, but we want to make sure that our response is Twitter friendly. So we provide some Twitter specific instructions, and towards the end I've provided some article examples, and I've also provided some corresponding tweet examples. Same here, and just save this. And once you do that, you basically have two assistants you can use to complete this workflow. Okay, now that we have our assistants, we need to grab a DALL-E module. So OpenAI, create an image. Okay, generate an image. We're gonna choose our model to be DALL-E 3 and the prompt create. Okay, before providing the prompt, it's very important to know that different social media platforms have different formats. So we need to make sure the size of our picture matches the desired social media platform. And I'm just gonna copy the instructions from my previous workflow. So for the LinkedIn one, we want to make sure that the size is basically this one right here, and we can pass the summary of our article. Okay, this is the result. Save, and let's just duplicate this one, clone, and here we need to change the size of the picture. So I'm just going to come here, I'm just going to copy this one, which is specific to our Twitter. Okay, this is specific to the Twitter, and I'm just going to save this. Now we are basically done with the workflow, and I need to add my social media accounts. So I'm going to start with LinkedIn and create a user text post, and here we can pass the content. So the content I want to pass is basically the result of this module right here. So I'm just gonna click here, I'm just gonna click on result, and also I wanna pass the picture, so the URL of the picture. Save. And for Twitter or X.com, you need to know that Make.com does not integrate with X anymore. So as mentioned, I believe they mentioned it somewhere, but they are no longer supporting X.com because they couldn't afford the price X set for their APIs. So they're not going to do that anymore, but you can basically save the information in a Google Docs. Okay, I'm gonna say Google Docs, and here insert a paragraph to a document. I'm gonna set that one, and here I'm gonna say by mapping and document ID, or maybe we can say by mapping, yeah, document ID. So I've already created my Google Docs, so I'm just gonna copy this document ID, and I'm gonna paste it right here, and you can leave it as is and append text. We can provide the text. So for our Twitter, it should still be the result as well as the URL for the picture. Okay, now we should be good. So now that everything is set up, we can just run the module. Okay, so I actually need to go to my Google Sheets, and I need to copy and paste this link into the third row, because this module is only gonna work when we add a new row. So let's test it. As you can see, the summary is being generated, and just for your information, in order to connect your LinkedIn account, you need to just sign into LinkedIn. It's very easy. You don't need to pass any APIs or anything. So the summary was created. Now we are basically using that summary to create a LinkedIn post. So it's gonna work with our assistant, and it's gonna be passed to our DALL-E model, and DALL-E is now creating the picture. It's gonna take a while, but it's definitely worth it. And it was posted on my LinkedIn account. So we are doing the same for my Twitter content, and now the picture is being generated, and then it's gonna be passed to the Google Docs. Let's actually have a look at my LinkedIn account to see how the post looks like. So let me refresh this. Okay, here is the post, and as you can see, we have our content, and it's pretty detailed, and as you can see, it's using emojis, and also here it's using hashtags, which is very helpful. One thing you need to keep in mind when it comes to posting stuff on LinkedIn is that your links are not going to be displayed as images. So this is the link, this is the picture DALL-E came up with, which is very relevant to our case, but LinkedIn is not going to display it as an image. It's going to just put the link there. So as of right now, you have to manually download this picture and just upload it to LinkedIn. But as you can see, the picture is amazing, and I'm gonna go back to make.com, and as you can see, our Twitter content is also ready. So I'm gonna go to this Google Docs right here, and it's a little bit messy, but let me clean this up. Okay, so we have our Twitter content, and here we have the link to our image, and sadly there are no integrations between make.com and x.com at this point. So the best way to do it is to do it manually, and let's look at the picture for my Twitter. I'm gonna click on this, and here I'm gonna click on data 1, and here's the link. Let me expand this. Let me copy the link, and we can have a look here. This is our picture, and it makes sense, right? The whole article was about AI experts being worried about AI. So the content makes sense, and that's it for this video. If you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. Thank you very much, and have a great day.